My name is Leila and I am the Health Education Manager here at AiArthritis, and I am a person living with lupus and Sjogren's disease. Organ involvement having to do with my AiArthritis diseases, and one of the biggest ones that I experienced is lupus nephritis. Lupus nephritis is when your lupus starts to affect your kidneys and the inflammation causes damage to the different parts of the kidney. And in lupus nephritis, there's 5 different classes. And the classes that I was diagnosed with is class 4 and class 5. Those classes basically mean how severe it is and also what parts of the kidney that it is affecting. And my journey started in about July, August of 2019. I just graduated college and I was working at my new office job. And I started to notice that I was getting a lot of swelling in my hands and my feet and my legs to the point of even pitting, where when you press down on the skin, it would leave like an imprint. And so I started to get worried. At that time, I had Kaiser. And so I went to Kaiser to try to get everything checked out with the rheumatologist. And then what happened is that we needed to do urine tests to see what was happening. We did blood tests. And unfortunately, every time I would try to do the urine test to see what was happening, it would come back as contaminated. So it turned out that I had a UTI that I had to rectify first before they would be able to get a good reading on my urine. So I had to fix the UTI and redo the urine test and do a 24-hour urine test to really see the amount of protein that was being released into my urine for the day. And with that, we realized that I did have lupus nephritis after the 24-hour urine test. And it probably took about 2 months to get to this point. And we then were deciding to schedule the biopsy because we needed to do the biopsy before we can even start on any lupus nephritis treatments. And so we went to go ahead and schedule the biopsy, which I had in October of 2019. And we there found out I had class 4 and class 5 lupus nephritis. And at that time, I was on Benlysta, a very small amount of prednisone, maybe about 5 milligrams of prednisone, and Plaquenil. Those were the 3 medications that I was on. And at that time, Benlysta was not approved for treatment of lupus nephritis just yet. And so they had me go on rituximab instead. And I was on 60 milligrams of prednisone and still continued my Plaquenil. And in addition to that, I also got a prescription for Cellcept, which is a kidney medication. And after starting that medication, it probably took about 2 or 3 months for all the swelling to come down and to get things in a better place. During this time, I also had really bad issues with my blood pressure. It was consistently at about 175 over 100 or 180 over around there, pretty high. And so I had gone to the ER several times because of my blood pressure too. And I had started a new cocktail of blood pressure medications, additionally to all of these other medications. And so I'd say it'd take about a year or so to get me to a place of being stable again and getting the inflammation down in my kidneys and making sure everything is where it needed to be. Of course, with the 60 milligrams of prednisone for 9 months to a year, I gained a lot of weight, about 40 pounds. And it was a really tough time in my life because with that much steroids, it also has a lot of side effects on the rest of your life. Not being able to sleep, eating so much, having mood swings, and being angry. So it was just a really hard time. And of course, I was working to support myself and to pay for rent and for food and all of those things. So I couldn't take a lot of time off of work either. I did end up going on disability for about a month in January of 2020. And that's what happened with my lupus nephritis. About a year later is when I started to go into remission with my lupus nephritis. And it's been about 3 years or so since I've been feeling good and my kidneys have not been affected. And I am very thankful for that because I really want to prevent dialysis or a kidney transplant as much as possible. So I make sure that we stick to a strict schedule with all of my labs, make sure that if any of those symptoms start to happen again, that I get it checked out right away so that the progression of my lupus nephritis does not get to that point. And yeah, that's pretty much my story with lupus nephritis. It was very scary, and for my family and for me, and a lot of hospitalizations and ER visits during that time. But now looking back on it, I'm so happy that we were able to catch it at that point before it got to the point that it was too bad that I had to get a transplant or anything like that too. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.